Death has a strange way of quieting everything except guilt. And on one winter night in St. Paul, Minnesota, a young nurse named Elena Ward discovered that even a fading heartbeat can carry secrets meant to outlive the living. The moment that changed everything for her began in the final hour of a man she barely knew. A man who couldn't speak. A man everyone assumed had no one left. And yet, he died with a smile right after she sang to him. Take a moment right now to like this video, comment, share it with others, and subscribe to Moral Avenue. Together, we can remind the world that compassion leaves echoes long after we're gone. Elena had always been the nurse patients requested when they were scared. She had a calm presence, a soft voice, and a way of paying attention that made people feel seen. But behind her gentle manner lived a growing heaviness. She was working double shifts. Her mother's medical bills were piling up, and her dream of becoming a nurse practitioner seemed farther away every year. The hospital had become her second home, and also the place where she felt the most invisible. Most of her days blended together. Vital signs, medication rounds, paperwork, reassurance, repeat, until room 413. A man named Thomas Avery, mid-70s, stroke patient, nonverbal. No known family, no visitors, no flowers, not even a get-well card. He arrived on the unit quietly, and everyone assumed he would leave the same way. The older nurses called him the silent one. The younger nurses avoided the room entirely, but Elena couldn't. Something tugged at her each time she passed his door. He seemed aware. His eyes followed movement. His fingers twitched when someone spoke. And whenever Elena entered, his entire presence shifted like he recognized her from somewhere. But the chart said no cognitive response. Another case of a forgotten patient fading away unnoticed. Still, she spoke to him every day, even when he didn't blink. "Good morning, Mr. Avery. It's me again." She straightened his sheets. She warmed his hands with hers. She told him about the weather. She gave him dignity when no one else tried. But what struck her most wasn't his silence. It was a photograph on his bedside table. A younger man, smiling, standing in front of a piano, a small stage behind him, an empty bar, a drink left untouched. On the back, play for someone who needs it. There was a story there, and Elena wished he could tell her. As December settled in, the hospital grew louder family visits, holiday decorations, cheerful music echoing through the halls. But room 413 stayed achingly quiet, until one evening changed that. A cold blue blared through the unit room 413. Elena ran, heart in her throat. But as she and the team burst into the room, it wasn't chaos. She felt it was resignation. His vitals were crashing. His breaths are shallow. His pulse was weak. And there was no medical miracle left to try. The doctor gave the final instruction. Comfort care. We keep him peaceful. Most nurses hated sitting with the dying. Elena didn't. But this time felt different, uncomfortably so. The winter storm outside rattled windows. His room glowed with a small lamp, and his eyes, usually distant, were locked on hers. No fear, no confusion, just longing. She pulled a chair close to his bed. "I'm here," she whispered. "You're not alone." His fingers moved, barely, like he was reaching for something in a memory. He couldn't speak. She glanced again at the photo, the piano, the smile, the message on the back. Without thinking, she said softly, "You liked music, didn't you?" His eyelids fluttered. Then something rose inside her, a gentle urge from a place she didn't understand. Elena had a secret she told no one. She used to sing to her mother after chemo sessions. Music calmed her, soothed her pain, and helped her sleep. So she did the same now. She sang an old lullaby her mother loved. Her voice cracked at first from nerves and exhaustion, but it steadied, filled the room, wrapped around the man who'd lived his final days unseen. And something happened. His breathing slowed, his hands relaxed, and for the first time since he arrived, he smiled. A single tear slipped from the corner of his eye. Moments later, he exhaled and didn't inhale again. He died listening to her voice. Elena froze, tears running down her face. She didn't know why she was crying this hard for someone she'd known only a week. Maybe because he died alone. Maybe because he reminded her of her own father. Maybe because she felt like she'd been given a moment that somehow mattered more than anything else she'd done all year. Or maybe because he smiled at the very end. She wrote her death note, cleaned the room, removed the photograph, and placed it over his chest with care. Then she whispered, "I hope someone sings for me someday too." She left the room believing the moment ended there. She was wrong. 3 years passed. Elena changed hospitals. Her mother's health improved. Life steadied. Then, one spring morning, she received a letter with no return address. Inside was a single sheet of heavy cream paper, handwritten in elegant script. She froze when she saw the name at the top, Thomas Avery. Her hands trembled. Her breath hitched. Her stomach flipped with dread and awe. The letter read, "Dear Nurse Elena Ward, if you are reading this, it means I am gone. But it also means you stayed just long enough to save someone who had already given up. You know the truth about me, and the hospital never learned it either. I was aware. Every word, every step, every kindness, every song. Doctors said I couldn't understand anything, but they were wrong. I lived inside my own body like a locked room, unable to speak or move, but fully awake. I heard the nurses complain. I heard the doctors discuss giving up. I heard the world moving on without me. But then you walked in. You talked to me like I mattered. You treated me like I wasn't a burden. You asked me how my day was, even when I couldn't answer. And on the night I left this world, you gave me something I had been missing for decades. Music. I used to play piano in small bars. I wasn't famous. I wasn't special. But music was the only thing that felt like home. My son, he used to beg me to sing to him. I never did. I was too busy playing for strangers, chasing applause from people who forgot me the moment they walked out. He died in a car accident before I ever said sorry. I lost my voice after that. I lost myself. I lost everything that mattered. Until you sang. Your voice was the last thing I heard. Your kindness was the last thing I felt. And your presence was the first time in years I remembered what peace was. Thank you. I left something for you. Something that belongs to someone who can still use their voice to heal others. Look inside the envelope. And keep singing for people like me. Signed, Thomas Avery. Elena stared at the letter for a long time, tears hitting the page one by one. Then she reached inside the envelope. Her breath caught. It was a cashier's check, folded neatly. Cold, heavy, $75,000. There was a small note pinned to it. For your future. Don't give up your dreams like I did. Her life turned upside down in one moment. Someone she barely knew had given her the chance to finally return to school, pay off her mother's medical debts, and rebuild a life she thought she'd lost. All because she stayed with a dying man no one else cared about. Elena sat alone on the edge of her bed, holding the letter with both hands, feeling the weight of it settle into her chest. That's when she noticed something odd. The envelope had a faint scent. Cologne. Familiar. Her heart skipped. No, this wasn't possible. She lifted the paper again and saw a watermark she hadn't noticed before. A small logo of a bar with a piano and one word beneath it. Avery's. The same name from the photo on his bedside table. The same bar from the picture. The same place where he used to perform. Except that bar had burned down years before he died. And the news articles said someone else set that fire. Someone who was never caught. Someone who disappeared. Suddenly, Elena realized something the letter hadn't told her. Something buried between the lines. Something chilling. Thomas Avery hadn't been alone all those years. Someone had been watching him. Someone had been sending money to his old address. Someone who knew she sang to him. Someone who mailed this letter years later. Someone who might still be out there. But why contact her? Why now? And what did they want? Elena turned the envelope over once more, and her heart froze. A second note fell out. Small. Handwritten. In different handwriting entirely. Part 2 begins when you're ready. Come find me where his music ended. She looked up. A sharp breath stuck in her throat. Someone knew her name. Someone knew where she lived. Someone wanted to meet. Someone connected to Thomas or the fire or the past he never admitted. She felt a cold wave rush over her as she realized the story wasn't over. It was about to begin. And someone out there was waiting, watching, listening for her. Moral: one small act of compassion can open doors you never knew existed. If this story shook you, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to Moral Avenue, where we uncover the truth behind everyday moments that change lives. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with friends, subscribe to Moral Avenue, and leave a comment below. Before we end, I have one special request. Comment below what you would have done if you were the nurse who received that letter. Thank you for watching Moral Avenue.